elect a chair, and then to make a recommendation for a new slate of officers. So that would be the order of business. And I would again recommend giving a couple of minutes more to Laura to join us.
So are we currently live with the public?
I don't believe so. Crystal would be able to confirm that for us. I believe we're recording right now, but I don't believe that we have gone to the live streaming. Is that correct, Crystal?
I'm just checking with Brad to see if he hit that button yet or not.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
We are streaming presently. Okay.
I got the Excel list.
Very good. Okay, well, by my clock, we have 5 minutes after the hour. We do have a quorum, so I am going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is a meeting of the CART Nominations or Nominating Subcommittee. This is a committee that is formed annually. It serves for the course of a year. Its main purpose is to recommend to the broader CART committee a slate of officers for the new year. The committee may also convene later in the year in the event that a member of the officer or of the executive committee, which are the three officers, the chair, vice chair, and secretary, if one of those were to resign or leave, then at that point in time, the nominating committee may be called back together again to recommend a additional replacement member. The first order of business, well, first, we do have a quorum. We do have Mr. David Dosher and Mr. Wendell Long present. We have one additional member of the three-member panel, Ms. Laura Nastasi, and she has yet to log in, but in the event that she does log in, we'll acknowledge that and put that on the record. The nominating committee is a committee selected by the current chair of the committee to make nominations to the CART committee for the coming year. First order of business would be to elect a nominating subcommittee chair, and it would need to be either of the two members that are currently present. So with that, I'd recommend that somebody make a nomination, and then I will yield running the meeting to that individual.
I think the only fair way is to go alphabetically, especially since my name would be last then. So I nominate David.
Okay. David, I believe it would be proper for you to second it. And
I'll
then
second the nomination.
Okay, and then I'll call a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, there are no other members to be opposed. So David, with that, I'm going to turn the virtual gavel over to you to continue the meeting. The next item on the agenda is the nominations for the RTA CART chair, the vice chair, and secretary. And as staff, it's my job to review your options. I did send out a list of current CART members to all of the members of the nominating committee. I also have that available to put up on screen if that's your pleasure. We have a number of options, and we've done things differently in the past. It's up to you to make a recommendation. Our first 7 years of the RTA CART committee were all chaired by Ms. Kelly Maslin, and she continued in that role until we adopted bylaws, and at that point in time we created this nominations committee or subcommittee and bylaws for the group and terms. And so with that, we created the process of annually submitting to the CART committee a recommendation for leadership for the coming year. We have 3 members currently on the committee. Our chair is Ms. Charlene Robinson. She has been the chair for a little over a year. She was the vice chair and became chair following the death of Armando Rios Jr. So she has been chair for a little over a year. We have as vice chair, Mr. Chris Albright, and as secretary, we have Mr. Fred Narcarati. And I have confirmed with all 3 of them that they would be willing to continue on should that be your recommendation and pleasure. I did speak, or we have had situations where we've continued the board on from year to year. We've had situations where we have rotated a chair off and brought in a new member, and that has happened in the past. If that were to occur, that would mean that you would need to appoint a new secretary and then rotate the members up. I did speak, however, to Mr. Albright, who is the current vice chair, who, if we went that route, would be then the chair, and he had indicated that for business reasons he would decline that. He would prefer not to be chair this year because of what's going on in his business presently. I have not spoken to Mr. Narcarati if he would want to skip past, but we could certainly ask him if that was the case. If you do wish to add some additional members, I've not reached out to any other members other than the current sitting executive committee about their interest or willingness to serve. What I would recommend, if you do choose to bring on an additional member, that you give me a list in priority of several members that you would like to see come on. That way, in the event that I have or somebody that you would recommend declines, I would have somebody to go to next without having to reconvene this meeting. So, or this committee for a meeting to clarify that. So with that, Mr. Chair, I have no further report, but would be happy to answer any questions that either of you may wish to pose.
What you're
Jim,
saying is the 3 people we have presently will work in there. They'll take another year in that job.
Mr. Chair, yes, I have asked them in the event that might be your pleasure, and they all 3 have confirmed that they would be willing to continue on if that is your pleasure.
Do you have anybody, Wendell?
No, I don't. I do have a couple questions. One is, are there term limits, Jim?
There are. The members are placed before the membership for approval annually, so you have a 1-year term. There are no limitations in the bylaws that would preclude somebody from continue on for multiple years. There's no terming out. The only thing that we would have is a need to make sure that all of the members are still members of the card, and they are at this point. We're not at risk, or nobody has an expired term.
Okay. What do you think, David? Do you think we just nominate the same slate?
I think the last couple of years, we really haven't had that many meetings, so I think Charlene has been around long enough to make a good chair, personally, because with the lack of meetings we've had, she really hasn't had that much experience, but she's got more than anybody else that I know of on here.
Now, Jim, the vice chair, is this just the 1 year time when he can't serve as chair?
I did not inquire about whether or not that might change. My expectation is that would be something that he would evaluate annually.
Because
But
yeah,
I did not.
I mean, I have problems with the vice chair who doesn't have time to serve as a chair. I mean, that doesn't
Right.
really work as an adequate backup. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've got a good point. I think maybe what we need to do is to probably replace him and keep the other two.
Is he, Jim, do you know, I know he doesn't want to be chair, but if Charlene steps down, is he willing to be chair, or would we then be?
Here's the way I would view it. He had indicated that he would prefer not to become the chair because of business reasons. He is aware of what the responsibilities are of the vice chair in the event that the chair is not available to perform their duties. Did not express to me that he would be unwilling to fulfill the requirements of the vice chair position. He just would prefer not to be would prefer not to serve as the chair in the event that was your choice to nominate him for the whole year.
If the chair isn't there, can we nominate just somebody for the chair?
Well, Madam, or I'm sorry, Mr. Dosher, Mr. Chairman, what we would do if let's say the chair were to depart the committee for some reason, at that point in time, I would reconvene the nominating committee to make a recommendation for the upcoming or to move the vice chair into the position, or to add an additional
We have the option to add it.
yeah, that would be, as I mentioned, the nominating committee or nominating committee would reconvene in the event that there's a vacancy on the executive committee.
So the vice chair doesn't automatically become the chair on a vacancy.
That would be, if it were for one meeting, I would say that person might be asked to step up. If it were or a short-term situation, but if it were a vacancy, I would reconvene the nominating committee.
Okay. Do you have any problems, David?
No, I'm just trying to think of who else we could ask to be a vice chair.
Maybe that's something that we, since we really haven't discussed much with the vice chair, maybe we renominate this group.
I think if we renominate this group,
and then work on it during the year.
Then work on it during the year, and we'll spend more time getting to know the people better.
Yeah, and I would add, if I will, that the secretary, in the event that the vice chair were unable to take the position, should the chair not be able to take the position, we also have a very capable secretary that could step in as well. So
right.
That would be the succession. I think the likelihood of having a problem where we would have to do something urgently is pretty low.
Well, and I would imagine that we could probably find, at least a half dozen qualified people on the board to serve as the chair.
Yeah, during the next meeting, we can ask if anybody's interested, or do a little looking.
So do you have
Yeah,
any, do you have any further questions, Mr. Chairman? Or can I make a motion?
You can make a motion.
Okay, the motion I make is that we renominate the 3 existing people into their same positions. Do you need to reword that, Jim?
Nope, that's fine.
And I'll second it.
Okay, then I guess, Mr. Chair, it'd be a matter of calling the question. For the formality of it, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, pose same sign. We have now, Mr. Chair, concluded our agenda, and the next appropriate thing for you to do would be to adjourn the meeting.
I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Okay.
second it.
All right, very good. Well, we stand adjourned then. Thank you very much. I appreciate your service. We're going to discontinue the broadcast now, and I will record the information in a administrative record and then run it by you so that you can see it before it posts online.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, very good.
Jim, do you have my cell phone number?
Could you email it to me?
Okay, very good. I'll email it to you. I'd like to talk to you about something totally
Okay.
different. Okay,
All right,
thanks.
very good. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.